Hi, I'm Keith Cooper from Northlight Images, and in this video I'm going to talk about some of the various aspects of running a photography business. Now, I've produced quite a few other videos and written some articles about different aspects of running a photography business, and these are just a few more observations and things that I've found that hopefully will be of some help or interest. Now, running a photography business, it is a business. I'm a commercial, architectural and industrial photographer, and it's the business side that keeps food on the table. The photography side of it is the fun side, but I'm going to say if you think it's all about photography, you're going to be disappointed. But I've done lots of other stuff about aimed at people thinking of becoming a photographer, things you need to consider. And a few other items. Business insurance, absolutely vital from my point of view. I work on sites, I work on buildings, I'm all over the place. I need professional indemnity insurance, I need professional liability insurance. If somebody on a site trips over my tripod, my insurance has got it covered. If I knock something off a walkway and it falls on somebody, I'm covered. As long as we've done a proper risk assessment and looked at all the health and safety options and things like that before going on a job, then I'm covered. It is not a needless expense, particularly when you actually need to claim on insurance like this. It's something that people put off a bit. Oh, I don't really need that. Consider if you're at a wedding, you definitely need insurance. If you, for some accidental reason, ruin a wedding, then you can be sure that some clients are going to come after you from a legal point of view. Now, this does vary around the world, different countries. I can only speak for in the UK, which is where we run our business here. Talking of running a business, terms and conditions. I'm assuming you've got some terms and conditions that you can supply to clients. They are important, and a key element of terms and conditions is that whoever last states their terms and conditions in a transaction, that trumps the other one. So if I send a client some details and they send me a purchase order with terms and conditions on it, I then reply accepting that subject to our terms and conditions. Unless they come back, then our terms and conditions trump theirs. Well, yeah, that's nice to know, and it's nice to know that when I'm working with some big company with an accounts department, that they've got it wrong and that their 250-day payment terms are trumped by our 14-day payment terms. But in the real world, you've got to be careful, particularly if you want work again with a company, which is why I always say any documentation you get back, if you get an email back from somebody, from a client inquiring about something, and there's a link to it to their terms and conditions, I know they're utterly tedious, but read them, have a look at it. Because one of the things is, it's great at the end of the process, you submit your invoice and they go, yes, we'll send you your payment in 6 months. And you go, no, hang on, you owe it me in 2 weeks. It's great to know that contractually you're in the right, but you're dealing with a big company. You might want to work with them again. You might not after being treated like this, but you might want to work with them again. So think about these things early. I've always found that if we get odd terms and conditions sent back, flagging them with the person that has asked you to do the work will often help things through, and they'll actually put it in that, yes, we'll set you up as a supplier, but we'll make sure you get paid within however many days it is. A lot of big companies have had a lot of flack off government and other organisations over their payment terms, which means they're a bit sensitive to this. Now, you have to get through the accounts department, because remember, the accounts department always treats every penny they handle as their own money, and they don't like giving it out. But just be careful. And the other thing is, this comes perhaps with smaller companies when you're dealing with them, know when to quit if need be. I've had jobs which I've turned down because I didn't like the way things were going, the way the arrangements were being made. I've also had things where somebody, and this was a long while ago and I learned an important lesson from it, where somebody paid me a chunk of the money that they owed me because they didn't feel the pictures were good enough and they just didn't pay me any more money. Now, I was owed, I think it was probably an extra £100. So, legally I can enforce my right to £100, but the costs of getting that £100, it's hassle time-wise, because you have to allow for your time as well. Yeah, that's almost certainly not worthwhile. So I wrote it off. I made some money on it. It told me to be even more careful when I accept jobs, because a similar looking situation arose a few years later. I looked at it and thought, don't like the way this smells. No thanks. I'm not available for that bit of work. So yes, your terms and conditions are important, but they have to be put in the context of working in the real world. And that means talking to people, and that means sometimes realizing that things aren't quite as good as they look. There you go. It's always a matter of what suits a situation. Talking of what suits a situation, I know some people who admiringly say, oh, I'm a perfectionist. I'm completely, my approach to my work is, nothing less than perfection. That's a garbage from my point of view. There is no such thing as perfection. You can be a perfectionist if you like. The only time I want perfectionists working for me are when I've got them on a fixed price contract and a fixed time contract with penalties for late delivery. They can be as perfectionist as they like in their own time, but when they're working for me, there is a target to be aimed at. Now that reflects in the photography, and that means that I could, since I take images with currently this Canon 5DS, which gives me 50 megapixel images, I could process those images to within, as much as I can, make them really good, and supply 50 megapixel images because I can and because that's the best I can do. Or I can talk to the client and realize that they only want 2000 pixel images in web format. They're going to use them on a website. Yeah, I might, if I'm using the images myself, put a lot more effort into them, but I don't put effort into work that isn't being charged for. Somebody wants 50 megapixel images that have been worked on, have been processed and had work. They pay for the Photoshop work, they pay for the extra time. You produce a good product, you maybe slightly exceed your client's expectations. You don't massively exceed your client's expectations, because then they may realize they're getting stuff on the cheap. So you do it a little bit. It's about expediency. Now, I know that's uncomfortable for some people because they have this attitude of always doing their utmost, doing their best. Well, that's fine, but make sure someone's paying you for it. It's as simple as that. Now, that's something I know some people will have some difficulties with. One last bit about business, about getting seen: trade directories. You will almost certainly if you've got a website, you'll be approached by people trying to get you to submit stuff to their various trade directories, online directories, or even printed directories. You'll still find there are still a few about. What I'm going to say is nobody uses them anymore. If you can find a directory that's actually of use and that people make use of, and this is where you need to talk to clients, then by all means make sure you appear in it. But most of the time you're getting no return for it. So most of these will offer free listings. They need free listings to bulk up the numbers there to try and convince people to pay for the paid listings. Now, I regularly get asked to submit for paid listings for different directories. Got no interest in it. I don't even bother reading the emails. I know what they are. They're just trying to get me to fork out some money. What return am I going to get on that money? Almost certainly none. We'll put your listing at the top of the list. Well, yeah, great, so it means 2 people see it. anything you spend in this form, on directories or listings and things like that, do a bit of research, find out if anyone uses them. Of course, asking the people whose directory it is, of course they're going to tell you, but you can always ask them what performance data they offer to justify their claims, and see that, and see how readily they provide that for you. Anyway, that's just a few more basic business aspects of being a photographer. I've got lots more about this, both on the Northlight Images website and here on YouTube. So have a look at the links that I've included with this, and if you find it interesting, please do subscribe to the channel, and thanks.